can't mute her, so otherwise I probably would. Okay. Yay, I'm excited. I just need to keep my eye on people asking to come in. Super excited for today's session because we're just going to kind of riff on I have 8 things for you guys. 8 different strategies that are going to create rapid sales growth. It's pretty much, if I had to sum up in a nutshell, what is my company, like me and my team, what do we do all day? It's these 8 things. And I did these when I was a 0 figure, and I do these at multi 7 figure. So the cool thing is they look a little bit different, but they're repeatable, sustainable, scalable strategies, which is really cool, which I think is way more important than trends. There's a lot of things. I always tell my clients there's a million things you could do to get to $1 million, right? But if I can teach you just a small handful of things that you could do and create the same result, and you can have life and live life and be with kids and do the things and have fun, why would we not do that, right? So of course, there's a lot of things you could do. I'm going to give you guys 8 things that, and even it's not even really 8. It is like the list is 8, but it's not even 8 because essentially these things all kind of go together, right? So it's kind of like you do one and it's sort of doing another 1 or 2 at the same time. So, okay. Quick reminders, replays for this 4-day session, they will live in the Facebook group until next Friday. So I'm going to keep them in there. I'm trying to keep them in there so everyone can kind of go back. If you need to go back, refresh if you missed something, whatever. There will be $47 to the public after, unless you're in our programs. Obviously, it's free to you, but it's free to everybody until next Friday. If you're not in the Facebook group, you'll just want to join there because that's where the videos live. And that's where we're just kind of keeping them for the ease of everything right now. Okay. And then obviously Sales Academy is open for new clients right now. The biggest thing I can say over there is we're helping you to create consistent 10K months, but we're doing it with just a couple of good strategies, right? So we're looking at your buyers list, we're looking at your offer, your messaging, and then using ethical human behavior sales language and techniques inside of your conversations. Okay, so in a nutshell, that's what we're helping you do over there. It's not about tech, it's not about creation, it's not about scaling, it's not about anything other than let's get dollars and cents consistently month after month after month in your bank account that you can rely on and predict. Once we get that down and you're like, oh, Ann, I can do this like this. This is very easy. I got it, like it's happening. Then we graduate you into our next Sell at Scale program. And we take 10K months and we make it 20, 30, 50 to 100. We just stack you. And we simplify what we've taught you in Sales Academy. So the goal in Sales Academy is let's just get 10K months in at minimum. Now, 10K months is not everything, right? Like it's not a huge amount of money, but 10K months consistently and knowing how to do it can be game changer for people. And it's a starting point. I feel like 10K is kind of the middle ground where it's like you can pay the bills, you can invest in coaching, and then maybe there's a little, kind of functional left after the fact. But like as you want to grow your business, as you want to live a different lifestyle, you want to do more things, you want to pay off more stuff, that number has to go up. So that's kind of like the bigger picture focus of what we do with you guys and kind of what works, that's kind of the expectation. As you enter our space is we want to take you through that process. But we want you to be able to, number one, master the skill. Because I want you to be able to do this long after me, not just while you're working with me. That's important to me. The second thing is we want you to build consistent sustainability. I don't want you to just make money once. I don't want you to just be like, woo, I have my first 20, 30, 50K month. I don't want that. I actually want you to be able to know exactly what you need to do to make a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time without having to think about it and have questions. And I want you to be able to do that again and again and again and again. So everything that we have you do all the way from Sales Academy, it's all about helping you build systems around the strategies that we're teaching you and then the mindset and the skill set. Because I want you to leave our programs and be like, I know how to do this for the rest of my life. Like I will never, ever financially struggle again, right? That's how it's been for me. So that's what I want for you guys. Yeah, so Paola, is there a link to join? So for Sales Academy, we just chat in DM. And then if it's something that you're like, I'm a green light, let's go, like I'm ready for this, what we would do is just send you the link to the page, you would sign up, and then this within minutes of signing up, my head coach is going to get with you. She's going to onboard you, get you enrolled. I mean, it starts fast. It moves quick after that. So that would be the process for that. Yeah. So there's no like, you don't have to book a call, you don't have to do all that stuff, which is great because we demonstrate how you guys can do that, right? You get firsthand experience of like, I see how she's doing this, and then you can just go do the same thing. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, we do calls from time to time. I mean, I haven't done any in 8 years, but Sydney, my head coach, has done some before. I would do them if I had to. I'm not opposed to them, but why do them if you don't have to? Like, if you don't have to do them, why do them? And so the strategies that we actually teach you guys, you just don't have to do them. It becomes an option, right? So like it's something that you can do if you want to do it. Okay, I'm going to dive into the 8 strategies with you because I'm really excited about this. One of the things that I would say, I said this yesterday, but I think it is so important that you literally could just write this on like a whiteboard somewhere or something and see it all the time. I want to, before I give you the 8 things, I want to remind you, the person that has the most conversations is always going to make the most amount of money. That is so, so key in this economy and just in the online space. I mean, that's always been sales, but it's never been more serious than right now. If you're a busy person and you have to really look at like where your time is going and who your time is going to, because you're busy, right? So when you don't have a lot of time, which I didn't when I was a single mom, I only had a little bit of like kind of crunch time. And even then I was like, I don't know, I might get interrupted. So when you only have a little bit of time, you have to be way more intentional with who, what, and where you put your energy, right? And so I always say, if I was starting at ground zero, if I lost my house, if I lost my money, my business, if we lost everything and we ended up on the street or in low income again, and I had to start from ground zero, right? And that did happen like 15, 17 years ago. We lost everything and right back we went. And I just picked it right back up again. So the thing is like, if I had to give you one thing that I would say, here's what I would do if that happened, it would be talk to people, get in conversations, pull people into a conversation, we talk to people, build the relationship, and focus on your solution, right? Like that's what I would say, get really good at doing that. Don't worry about pages, don't worry about Canva, don't worry about tech, don't worry about systems, don't worry about funnels, don't worry about automation, don't worry about creating courses, literally talk to people. And that's how I got off welfare, is I didn't have any of those things. I just started talking to people and they're like, how much would that be? And I'm like, I don't know. And I came up with random numbers. People said yes. I was like, perfect. Or I would recognize I was talking to someone and they were like, oh, I don't think that's the program for me, but I do want to work with you. And I'm like, great, we could do like a VIP for 3 hours and we can just sell that. And they're like, sure, how much is that? And I was like, oh, wow. But I got that from talking to people. And so all I did all day, I'm like, if I talk to people, I make money. Like I'm almost guaranteed I make money. Almost guaranteed. Like I just need to talk to enough people. So I just did that. I did that for the first 10 years of my business and built it up to this, right? And now I have team, or we have other ways, and I don't necessarily need to do that, but that would be my recommendation. And I don't care if it's on calls on Zoom, if you do them in person or if you're doing them in the DMs, my recommendation would be conversations, right? So the person that has the most will always make the most money. If you line people up and the person at the front of the line is having a ton of conversations and nobody else is, the person at the front of the line is going to make the most money. The other people are going to struggle and have a hard time. Okay, so these 8 strategies, you guys will do these at 0 figures, and you'll probably do them up through 7 and 8 even. You know, if you're thinking that big like that. That's how applicable these strategies are and how proven they are and how timeless they are, right? These are not trends. These are not like I came up with these a couple years ago. These are strategies I've been doing for the whole 20 years I've been in business. Okay, so the first strategy, the first one is going to be connected. So you want to be connecting with new high quality leads every day. Now, I call this in my programs top of funnel. The top of your funnel, and this is any business, right? So if you think of your hair salon, your grocery store, your pet store, your daycare, Think about businesses outside that are local to you. Every business in the world has a top, middle, bottom of funnel. They have an audience, they nurture and convert those audience, and then they sell the solution to those audiences, right? Every business, that's in a nutshell, that is how a business works. One of the things that we see in the market right now is that there's not a lot of people growing the top of their funnel. They're like creating all this content, they're doing all these launches, they're having all these conversations, but they're running out of leads. Right? They're either running out of conversations, running out of leads, they've exhausted their leads, or they don't feel like their leads are high quality, like the right people. I hear that a lot. So number one, what we help you do in our programs is grow your audience daily. You could do that by 5 people a day. I do about 50 new connections a day, but I've been doing it for a long time, so social media allows it. But we have several ways besides sending friend requests. That's one way, but we have other ways that you can absolutely get people up to the top of that funnel. So you're adding to the buyers list. Remember, we talked about that in the beginning. The buyers list, it's a grow it, work it, convert it, grow it, work it, convert it. People come on, people fall off, right? And so as you go through the cycle of having leads come in, then leads fall off, some convert, some don't, some just sit there. You just need to be focusing every day. We need to grow that audience, because the minute you stop like adding new people to the top of your funnel, you have a dying business. As soon as you stop doing that, you're essentially limiting your sales possibilities, and you run out after a while. And the last thing you want is to be in a position where you're desperate for sales and you have nothing coming up at the top. Because what did I say the other day? You're looking at 4 to 6 months for a cold lead to convert, or 10 to 12 hours of top of mind content. So if your top of funnel is dry, where are we getting sales this week? Right? So we want you to have a steady rhythm of growing and connecting with new people at the top of the funnel. We'll give you plenty of ways to do that, and then you decide in the program which ones work for you, right? But we need to connect with new people every day. We can't ever let that get dried up, right? It's almost like saying, I'm not going to advertise anymore. Okay, so that's number one. We have noticed that as long as we keep the top with high quality leads, not just leads, but high quality that look good, as long as we keep people coming in at the top, we don't dry up with conversations and sales. But when we stop connecting and we turn our attention to like just emails or just content, we notice that conversations start to go down really fast and sales start to go down. Okay, so there is a direct correlation with our sales with how many people we're connecting with. Like, yeah, that's a great question, Pamela. Is it 15 a day? We do 50 friend requests or 50 new connections a day at the top of our funnel. We usually do it with Facebook, and then we'll go over on Instagram, and sometimes we'll split it 25 and 25. Because I've done it so long, Facebook knows that if I send 50 friend requests in one day, they don't touch me. But it's because I've done it for so long. You got to work your way up. The other thing is, when you join the program, Sydney, my head coach, will do what we call a profit possibility. And what that is, it's a proprietary calculator that I created like, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, because I'm not good at math. It basically, you punch in your numbers, it tells us exactly how much money could you possibly make based on what you've got to work with. And then that's how we decide, okay, so based on this, you need this many new ones coming in a day. We got to talk to probably this many people in a week. Like we'll back you into the goal based on what those numbers tell us, because numbers never lie. And so for us, we just back right into that. So how many per day will really depend on what your sales goals are and the price of your offer and what you got to work with. And we'll run it through that calculator to just easily get that information. Okay, so that's connected. The second thing is you want to be having those conversations. That would be the second thing, conversations, but I don't want you to have conversations just with anybody, right? I want you to have conversations with leads that look like they are qualified, meaning they look like they could be potential lead sales or clients or whatever. And inside Sales Academy, we have you do what I call a 2-call close or a 2-chat close, because it depends if you're doing them in chat or if you're doing this in, I have clients who do this in chat, some who do it on Zoom, and some who do both. They'll do part of it in the chat, and then they'll hop on a quick call to close. It just depends on what works for you. But It's a two-part conversation. And the first part is a qualified, what we call a triage. So most of us know, and we're familiar, if you go to the doctor, you go see your doctor, let's say for back pain, you don't actually get to walk in and go straight to your doctor. There's triage. There's a nurse first, there's an intake, right? Same thing if you go to like the emergency room. You can never just go straight to the doctor. There's always a triage, right? Why do they do that? Because doctors are busy and they want to get you to the right person at the right time in the right place and all the things. And we want to do it efficiently, right? So the way that we teach sales is we have you do our qualifying process. It's called our 5-star framework. There's 5 little things that we basically want you to go through. We want you to do it in about 10 or 15 minutes. Qualifies them in, qualifies them out. I'm in, I'm out, one way or the other. And then it goes into a sales conversation or back to content if they're not ready. It's a very simple concept, and it can be delegated out to a seller or a seller later. So it can get that whole process 100% can be off your table later. And so we actually have you guys learn that and implement that and do that to move conversations and to convert leads to sales. It also helps kind of cut down the way that we have you do it. It actually cuts conversion time a little bit. I know this week some of you guys have said conversions and sales feel like they take so long. And so one of the things that is really cool about this process that we teach you with the 2-part sales conversation, which is a triage, and then we move into the sales piece. The thing that's cool about that 2-part sales conversation is that you are cutting and collapsing the conversion time. We're teaching you to go from what a cold lead would typically take in this market, which is anywhere from 4 to 6 months in this market to convert if they're a cold lead. We actually want to trim that down, collapse that, and cut it in half a little bit so it doesn't take so long. So the process that we teach you does that. So the second thing everybody should be doing is having these conversations. You can do this, but in our programs, we don't teach you to have like coffee chats or free coaching sessions or like we're not teaching you to just like give your time away for free. It's 2 types of calls: triage and sales, right? And the triage is a 10 to 15 minute process. It's fast. We already have a system for that. You just apply it. It's an in or out type of thing, really quick. And you're either filling up your sales conversations or you're pouring people back to content and then you're qualifying your next batch. It's a very simple process. And again, how many of those you would do would just depend on what your sales goals are, right? So that proprietary calculator that we pull your numbers through is going to tell us all this information. So we're going to be like, perfect, numbers don't lie. We can manipulate them, but they don't lie. And so here's what we need to do, right? Most of what we see in this economy, if someone comes to us and they're not making the amount of sales they want consistently, it's always like 99.999%, they're not talking to enough people. And if they are talking to a lot of people and the sales is still a problem, they're not talking to the right people, or the way they're hosting is not right. It's always a conversation issue. So it could be on their end, your end, or a little of both, but we have to always figure out what that is right away so that we can fix it and bridge it, right? So the second sales strategy I would recommend for massive growth: conversations. If you take away everything else you're doing in your business and all you do is talk to people all day, you will 1,000,000,000% make more money than the person that is not doing that. You will make more money than probably anything else you're doing, because this economy requires conversation. And it doesn't mean on Zoom. You could do this in the DMs, but people want to connect. People want to have the know, like, and trust in this economy, right? We have to earn the sale. So definitely that. Okay, the third strategy, we talked a whole session about this on day 1: buyer's list. Buyer's list. There's not a business in this world making millions or billions of dollars without a buyer's list. It is not a thing. I don't know how anyone makes money in this economy without a buyer's list. I would imagine it is a spaghetti up the wall, run off the hip, hope for the best, wishing, praying, hoping sales, like here or there type of sales, once in a while type of sales, luck sales. I don't know. I would imagine it's not a beautiful, predictable, reliable, consistent, every single week I see sales coming in if you don't have a buyer's list. I don't know how anybody would use social media in this day and age with the way that it is in close, steady, consistent sales, like in a way that you can predict. Like I know if I do this, it happens, without a buyer's list. So that is the number one thing we teach you in the program is we're building a buyer's list. We're going to get at least 50 people on the buyer's list, and then we'll work you up to 100. You'll work up to 2. You'll work up to 5. Whatever your goals are. You never want that buyer's list to be dry, ever, 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 ever. And you don't want to be dependent on launching and social media and platforms and algorithms to try to make money to pay your bills. You need to have a buyer's list. That's where the money is. So you'll want to start and end your day with that buyer's list, which was all of session 1, right? We talked so much. We even had you guys go out and add 5 people to your buyer's list, right? It's critical. We just need to have it. Okay. What are we on? 1, 2, 3, the 4th one. Okay. The 4th one is going to be top of mind content, which we did talk about yesterday. We shared a little bit about my You're Welcome content, the energy behind your content, along with the intention behind every piece of content you are putting out. I will not put out a piece of content that is not going to start a sales conversation for me. It doesn't make sense to me. It's my time, it's my energy. What is the point of putting out content and it doesn't put conversations in my DMs and it doesn't give me dollars and cents in the bank? It's basically working for free. And I have zero time to be doing that. If I'm going to put an effort out, I want it to produce a result for me. So I'm very intentional with the type of content I put out. The other thing is that people do not care about free content right now because there's AI, ChatGPT, and there's billions of people on the internet posting billions of things all day. People's attention span is like -0 right now. They don't have time for it. They don't want it. If it isn't top of mind for them, if it's not right there, like, ooh, I'm interested in that right there, they're not going to pay attention to it. Which means it doesn't matter how much content you put out. Algorithm organically is not serving us right now. Unless we're Gary Vee. It is not serving us. You can't rely on that to get your stuff out in front of people. So the way that you get more visibility is going to be working that buyer's list, doing the touch points and the deposit and the reciprocity that we talked about on Monday. It's going to be that coupled with top of mind content. So that as you're doing those engagement points and social media is throwing your stuff in front of them, they're seeing things they're interested in. They're like, oh, dang, this is spot on. You're speaking to me. Are you in my head? Oh my God, I was just thinking about this, right? Oh my God, it's what I need. That's the type of content you need to be creating. Because doing the strategies with the buyer's list where we're depositing reciprocity, building know, like, and trust, what's the point of that if then they come to your profiles and they're seeing quotes and tips from people, other people that you're sharing, or they're seeing you put out a bunch of pitches or just irrelevant, not valuable content, not helpful, valuable, like shift perspective, like we talked about yesterday, content, or polarizing, right? If it isn't doing that, they're just going to scroll by. So what's the point of all the work we're teaching you if your content falls flat when they come to it? I want them to send you a friend request. I want them to click your links. I want them to sign up for your podcast. I want them to join your Facebook group, get on your email list, join your next workshop, get in the DM and say, hey, tell me more about that. We want them to be doing those things. And then you don't have to go chase them around. They're doing it. Because your content is what we call top of mind. So top of mind content, 100%. We got to dial that in this year going into 2025. 2025 is going to be a wild year. Just with like elections and all the things. There's so much opportunity though. You just need to learn how to tap into it. So top of mind content will be the next one. The next one is going to be Power Hour, which we also covered on Monday, right? We kind of coupled Power Hour with your buyer's list because that's how I want you to work your buyer's list. One of the biggest problems is I see people working 5, 6, 8, 10, 12 plus hours a day, and they're not even making any money. I mean, if I work 10 hours a day, I better be making more than 7 figures because I make 7 figures at 3 to 4 hours a day right now. Like I better be making a lot more than that. It wouldn't even be worth it to me. So some of you guys work kind of for free, right? Like you work a lot of hours. The Power Hour is not only going to condense the time in which you have to work to get a result, but it's also going to help you feel productive and be efficient with your time, where you don't end your day talking trash to yourself and beating yourself up about what you did not get done today or what did not happen today. I see this with clients in our program. They come in and they haven't learned the Power Hour yet, so they'll do a bunch of activities And then they get on the calls with all kinds of mindset stuff. And when we talk to them about it and we coach them through it, they're talking so horribly to themselves. They're literally putting themselves down and I'm this and I'm that and that. And it's like this literally Power Hour will stop that. It's because you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off with a lot of unfinished things. And you're like not even doing sales activities, most of it. And so it's not going to produce that result. And then you beat yourself up at the end of the day because you're working so hard and not getting the result. Power Hours, when you combine it with your buyers list activities, it's an ATM machine. It's dollar cents into it's just feed in your bank account, right? And that's what we want to be doing. So Power Hours should be a non-negotiable if for anyone that wants to have a life outside of business or is busy. Power Hours should be, or wants to be efficient, right? Okay, the next one is going to be follow-up. So following up is an interesting concept because most people don't do it. Most people that we talk to follow up one time, maybe twice, and then never again. But here is a little side note for you guys, because this year, 2024, the follow-up statistics changed a lot. So here's what happens. In the follow-up process, we have found across the board, doesn't matter your niche, doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. We have found across the board all this year, the average sale from a follow-up, it doesn't happen until about the 8th to 10th follow-up. That's insane. So here's what we found. 97% of sales in the follow-up are happening between the 8th or 10th. That's like all of your sales. That is like all of your sales. So imagine how much money you're losing if you're only following up once or twice at best. And maybe not even. Most people don't even do that. And what does the follow-up even look like? That's the question. What are we even doing, right? So couple little like kickers here for you guys, or nuggets. Inside of our programs, we tell our clients, do not ever follow up with someone and say, I'm following up. In our programs, using the word we're following up, the word follow up is a no-go in a sales conversation. It feels very disengaged, very disingenuine, very salesy, very like, hey, I'm following up. There's other ways to speak to people that are human behavior language. It actually connects it up here for them in a much different way and creates an emotional connection where they want to respond. It's, again, my background is brain science with human behavior sales specifically. So I just know how that fires off. And following up is like, ugh, what are we back in the 1800s, right? This is gross. It's not that real good. Like, let me get my credit card. I'm so happy that you reached out about your offer again, right? The second thing with following up is we teach you techniques where it feels very neutral. And it actually feels like the other person feels like you following up with them is actually serving them. Like you're actually doing something for them. It's like, it's a feeling of like, it's just ethical. And so we also don't hammer the offer when we're following up. A lot of people don't like to follow up because they're like, well, they didn't say yes to my offer the first time I followed up. So like, I'm assuming they don't want it, or they would have said yes. And like, they make all these assumptions. It's where we kind of start bringing it about us again. The thing is like, the follow-up shouldn't be, what about my offer? What about my offer? What about my offer? What about my offer? That actually shouldn't be the follow-up. So there are techniques and ways to speak to people that are going to get them to engage with you and actually be like, thank you so much. So whenever I have DMs, it's always, and thank you so much for letting me in the program. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. Like they're thanking me. And when I follow up, they're like, oh my God, Ann, thank you so much for following up with me because I forgot about this. Now, I didn't say I was following up with them. I used different language, but they said that to me, like, thank you so much. They thank you. Versus like, I'm not interested, or they just dodge you and don't answer you. So following up needs to be a strategy you master and you get really comfortable with, but I think knowing how to do that is usually pretty helpful with that, and it'll make following up feel so much better. But 97% of your sales lie in the follow-up. That means if you are someone who launches, we do launches, but we have clients who launch way more than we do. If you do launches, like workshops, challenges, things like that, you want to be following up with those people. right? You want to make sure that when you're doing that, you're following up with people properly and in a good order, because 97% of the people that buy from those your events, they're not going to do it until the 8th or 10th follow-up. That's after your launch is over. So people get stressed out when they're doing a launch. They're like, oh my God, day 2 or day 3 or whatever, I put my offer out there and nobody purchased, and then 3 days later I'm still talking about it and nobody's buying it. And I'm like, relax. 97% of those sales are not happening inside of the actual launch. That's the market we're in. You got to keep going. You got to keep going. It's all at the end. It's way, way at the end. Even after your workshops are over, you're following up. 97% of your sales are going to lie in you following up with people through the 8th to 10th time. And so we have like our 10-step process, where it's like, these are the 10 different types of follow-ups and ways and things you could say and do to like get those 10 points in. Because it's not just, hey, I'm following up, hey, I'm following up, hey, I'm following up. It's not just that. There's other ways you can follow up and get people back into your attention and top of mind for them. That's going to get that conversation moving again. So that is definitely something I think you're losing pretty much all of your sales if you're not doing that. The next thing, which is like, I don't want to say it's more advanced. I don't think it's more advanced. It's not something we heavily teach, like on a heavy basis in Sales Academy, if you're considering that. But it is like, we'll have you implement little pieces of it just so you have a foundation. But systems is the next thing. You got to build a system around your strategy. You see what I'm saying? If you have a strategy that you're executing, there needs to be a good solid system around it. So like, where are we using that? So like, where are we doing that strategy? And then do we have an SOP? Do we have a process for that strategy? So it's a rinse repeat. It's almost like a machine where you press the power button and the gears turn and they do their thing and then it spits out the outcome. That's how I look at sales. For me, it's like, turn that thing on, do these things, the wheels turn, and boom, money goes in the bank like an ATM. Like, that's how you should think about it. So you have to do it that way if you want to ever get out of your business a little bit. So for me, I want my business to be a generational thing. So I want this to operate when I'm no longer operating it, right? I want it to still go, whether it's my kids that take it over, or I sell it and somebody else keeps it going, or I'm a silent partner. Either way, I want this machine to make money long after I'm even working in it. So to do that, it has to be set up for someone else to run it exactly the way you want them to run it, right? So you want to build the systems around the strategies that are going to let somebody else run things the way that you would do it if you were still doing it, right? So the way that I look at this is, you always want to make sure when you're doing something, could this be delegated? Like, could I give this? Could someone else besides me do this? If I had to step out because I was sick, or someone was sick, or just whatever, if I had to step away from my business, can this still get done? Could somebody do it? To me, that has to be a yes every time. It has to be a yes, or my business will die. If I have to step away, everything that needs to get done to make money and to serve client has to get done. So there needs to be someone or something that is doing that for me when I'm not here. So we do touch on the surface level foundational things for you around the systems that or strategies that we're teaching you. And then as you graduate and you have more money, which means if you have more money, you have more time, right? If you have more money, you can hire people, give you back even more time and resources. You don't need to spend time trying to learn how to do this. Give it to someone who knows how to do it. So when we scale you into sell at scale, that's where we start really looking at your systems, and we're like, let's get that off your plate. Let's set this up so you never have to do it again. Like, that's where we scale. And in Sales Academy, it's like the surface level foundational pieces of it that we build off later. Because again, we want the strategies we teach you to be pretty straightforward and simple, where it's like, I get up in the morning, I hit the power, I fire off the few activities I know I got to do, I do my reps, and out come the things, right? You got to work that process consistently to get it doing that. Once it's doing that, you're never broke again, because you know exactly what you need to do to make the money that you want to make. And because we back you into the numbers, you know exactly what the numbers look like. If the numbers say you need to talk to 5 people today and put your offer in front of those 5 people, that is a no-brainer. You know exactly what you gotta do today. So then it's just, hey, Ann and team, how would I get those 5 people in a conversation? What are some top things I would do to do that? And we say, do this, do this, do this. They're like, cool. Go get your 5 calls. You talk to those people, and out of the 5, depending on your sales skills, you convert what? 2 or 3? 1 or 2? High ticket sales. That's great. Right? Depending on your price of your offer, that could be 5K, that could be 10K, whatever. And so again, it's always going to come down to backing you into the numbers. So you know every day, I don't need to spend hours a week or a day thinking about what I should be doing, thinking about how I should do it, thinking about where I'm going to do it, thinking about who is my next sale, where is it coming from, will it come in today, will I even get a sale this week, where is it all coming from? We want to remove all of that and just make this stupid simple, right? No brainer. If I do A, B, C, I get X, Y, Z. And I know when I repeat that consistently, that's what happens, right? So we got to build some good systems around that. A little bonus one that I wanted to give you guys, because I think it's huge actually for a few reasons. Another really good growth strategy is Black Friday. Black Friday. I make more money during the Black Friday season than almost all year, every single year. It is crazy. And it's 100% automated. Like those are happening while I'm having Thanksgiving dinner with my family, while I'm celebrating with my kids, while I'm cooking in the morning. My phone is like ding, ding, ding. That is automated. And so one of the things that I think is important is people don't leverage the holiday. People are spending money in the last quarter of the year. In the last quarter of the year, people spend more money than all year long. And you wouldn't think so, right? Because you're like, well, holidays, but they do. They're buying, they're investing, they're trying to get all the tax write-offs they can get. If anyone's going to make an investment, they're going to do it in the last quarter of the year so that they can write it off in their taxes. They're not going to wait till the following year to be doing that. They're going to do it now. This is why we get so many painfuls at the end of the year. So many people buy things from us at the end of the year because they want to write it off. It's a huge tax write-off. So they want to get that in, right, for the year. Also, it is a holiday season. So usually there's sales, there's discounts, there's ways to work with people at different price points or whatever that you can't get throughout the year usually from people, right? The other thing is people want to set themselves up for a productive new year. In the last quarter of the year, a lot of our brains start to think about the year, what we accomplished, what we didn't, what we really want to have happen next year, coming into a brand new year. Like your brain is shifting. Like my company is already in 2025. Everything you do right now in September is going to produce in January for you because your results are 90 days out. So here's a little thing I always tell my clients. If you want to know what you did in the last 90 days, go open up your bank account today. Because 90 days ago, you created today's results. It's just like working out. It's just like exercising. It's just like, changing your lifestyle or the way you eat, right? It's the same thing. Everything takes time. If you want abs, right, you're gonna have to do sit-ups and crunches for more than one day. You're gonna have to do that for a little while to start seeing the actual results, right? Anything we do, you can't have a baby in under 9 months. Anything that you do is going to take time to produce an actual result where you can see it, where it's tangible, right? So when you think about your sales goals, everything you're doing right now in September is going to tell you what January is going to look like for you. And a lot of people, when we talk to our clients, because Inside Sales Academy, we do quarterly planning events. So every quarter, we spend about 4 or 5 hours on Zoom. We map out your next quarter. And we do this every quarter. We get you solid. And so it's always 90 days. Your result, it doesn't mean you don't make any results or money during 90 days. It just means like, if you could be consistent for 90 days, it's going to produce after that 90 days. You're going to see the actual tangible, like, dang, just like if you did a workout, right? If you did crunches and sit-ups for 90 days straight every day, I'm sure your stomach would look different if you did that. So what we do is Black Friday, we leverage it because that's how people are thinking. I didn't do what I wanted to do this year. I didn't get the results. I fell off the wagon. This came up, that came up, blah, blah, whatever. Next year, I really want this to happen. Next year, I really like, I'm going to go all in. People are going to make their investments now to get the write off, but also to know they're like, I'm in that mode of making that commitment that this is happening in the new year for me. Like, I want this type of support. I want to know it when I get back from the holidays. I'm ready to hit the ground running and I can get these results, right? Like, people want to know that. And so they start making their investments now. So September, like October, November, December, huge sales opportunity months. So Black Friday is a great way to do that. It's a great way to put something in front of your audience, maximize your sales, and activate non-buyers. It's a great time to do that. And there's so many different things you could do. Now, a little caveat to that, if anyone is planning on joining Sales Academy, we are doing a Black Friday event with our clients in October. The only focus during that event is we're going to create what your Black Friday offer will be. And we're going to help you create all the assets on the call. And then you're going to set it all up so it's automated. So you're going to have your offer, you're going to have your emails, your posts, your whatever, all the assets. And then you're also going to get it all set up and scheduled out. So you are literally taking the holiday off, but sales are coming in for you. So it's going to be like a 4 or 5 hour event. It will be recorded, but it's obviously great if you can be there, even if it's a little in and out, because we can help you create it all. We're going to give you guys template swipes. We're going to make it really easy to set up and implement. But we are doing that in Sales Academy. So that's happening in October. And then I think October and November, we're doing our next quarterly planning event as well. So you come in and get your Black Friday going. You can come in and then we'll move into a more consistent, what are we doing for the next 90 days? So some really good things happening there. Yeah, Paola said, do you discount at Black Friday? We do. So it's not usually our big programs because they're already priced, like they should be priced higher. We don't discount those, but we might throw in some bonuses, or if we're going to sell those. Normally what we do in our strategy, and I say this only because of the market, prior to the economy and the online space, prior to this changing, I did not do low ticket. And I didn't slash prices, and that was not things that I did. I didn't teach it, didn't coach it, didn't do it, didn't buy it. Like, that wasn't my thing. I'm a high ticket coach. But because of the economy and because of the way that things are on social media right now, we have leaned into a lower ticket offer is what we call a primer program. And we just actually did a workshop on this in Academy as well, and helped everybody create their primer program. I actually do think that given this economy, we all need to have what we call a primer program that is an easy, low cost way, low risk or no risk, for people to say, yes, I would like to see what it's like to work with you. I would like a taste. I would like to, make that first small step without a big risk or without any big payout having to happen. And they come in, it's a tiny taste, but we find that it's a great feeder for our high ticket programs. It's also a great activator for lower level leads. So it's kind of doing 2 things all at once, and at the same time, actually 3, because you're also getting some pocket cash, right? You're getting some cash in the door, you're getting some sales in the door at the same time. But we have you design that in such a way that it specifically and intentionally feeds your bigger programs. I don't think it's worth having a low ticket offer if it doesn't do that. It's just not worth it. I'd rather you put you're going to work the same to probably less, because there's less creation for a higher ticket. So you actually work less to get high ticket sales. Lower ticket sales are harder to get because, again, it's who it's attracting. And let's put it this way. We have a membership that's like $44 a month right now. And each month or every 2 months, we raise it a little bit. $44 a month. We have had people say, do you offer a payment plan on that? So no joke. I barely get that question with my high ticket offers. Lower ticket is harder to sell because of who you're talking to. You're going to work equally or less hard to close a 5K, 10K plus offer. I'd rather you put the energy on the high. It's more bang for your time and effort and your buck. But we do have you create this primer program, and it is really great to sell during Black Friday. It's what we do. And then people from that will come into our higher ticket offers from there. So there's a whole strategy with that you can learn in Sales Academy. But the Black Friday thing, I think everybody, you would lose money if you didn't do it. right? Like literally, it would be silly to not do Black Friday. So I do think that that is another really good thing if you can leverage holidays to maximize sales and activate non-buy-in leads. I think that's just super, super a thing we should do. Okay, any final questions about any of this? These would be the 8 things. So again, it's connecting new leads every single day at the top of your funnel, conversations every day, specifically triage and sales with high quality leads. Definitely building that buyer's list and working that buyer's list every day. Creating the top of mind content so that when those people that you're connecting with at the top start to see your stuff, it speaks directly to them and pulls them into your stuff so you're not chasing them around. Power hour should be non-negotiable. That can look any way you want. You can change it every day, every week. It doesn't matter. But we should, when we do the sales activities, we should put them into power hour forms, blocks of time. That's how you should focus. Follow-up should be a thing on everybody's calendar now of like, I need to learn the follow-up process. I need to do that. I need to do it effectively. Otherwise, I'm losing 97% of my sales. Build in systems around the strategies you're using each day to make money so that if you had to step away for some reason, you're not pigeonholed as the bottleneck in your business. Everything shouldn't rely on you because that's dangerous, right? Like something could happen to you or a family and you can't work. And so then you want to make sure things are set up where you're like, hey, can you do this for me? Hey, can you take this over? If you had to do that to keep things going. So again, just basic kind of fundamental systems around those sales strategies. And then Black Fridays, leveraging Black Friday, leveraging those holidays to activate non-buyers to really maximize your sales a little bit. Get that money momentum kind of happening a little, get some good energy out there. That should be something on everybody's list as well. So those are the 8 things. We do these Monday through Friday. We do these all year long. We don't really do anything else. Like, I mean, we do some collaboration. That's more advanced. We teach you that in Sell at Scale. That's a little more advanced, although we have some people doing it in Sales Academy as well. I'm not opposed to it at all. Collaborations is a great way to get visibility and credibility and build your audience. So that's definitely a strategy to be using. But these would be the 8 things that I would do if I lost everything today and I had to start over. This is exactly what I would do all day, every single day. In Sales Academy, we do have a system for the buyer's list and how we work our leads. Like we actually have like it's an actual system. It's a piece of technology. And it has so much automation and so many features and it does so many amazing things for us. We teach you that if you choose to use it. If you don't want to use that, you don't have to. We have clients that use that. We have clients that use Trello board, a spreadsheet. Like we want to make it easy for you. So we'll go over your options and you pick what you want to start building a buyer's list and working them. But we do have systems around everything so that we are not glued to it. And upon joining the program, we'll go over those options with you and you can choose what kind of system you want to use. You might start with one thing and then advance into something else. That's fine too, right? Okay, great. So here's the deal. This was the last, could you get into your scale program straight away without, yeah, we do have clients coming into Sell at Scale. You'd probably be looking at doing at least 5K a month in your business, and you would want to be ready to say, I don't want to do any one-on-one coaching or service work. I really want to do one-to-many, and I want to scale. I really want to like scale up. If you're not quite there yet, I would say you don't have to come in Sales Academy the whole time. We actually want you to graduate in like 90 days if we can, or like a max of 4 to 5 months even. We have people that come in and they will hold 10K or more for like 90 days, 60, 90 days. And we're like, get over here, we're going to up level that. So that is definitely, and that's our goal. The only way you stay in Sales Academy for a year is if a lot of things came up and it just happened that you needed to be there longer, things took longer, or you wanted to be. Ideally, we would love to graduate everybody within like a 90-day to maybe 4, 5, 6 months at most. Just depends on how long it takes to get things set up for you and then get those producing the results. Because when you come in to scale, we don't want that to be stressful. We want you to have a foundation. We want you to have money and a foundation and be stress-free and be like, I'm ready to scale. Not like, oh my God, let's do this. How do I? and freaking out, right? We want to get you where I know that it's going to be sustainable for you. And so there are some things we like you to have in place, but you don't have to go through Academy first. Just for anyone that kind of wanted to know, that was a good question. Okay, so this replay will be in the Facebook group probably in a few hours. We'll see how long it takes to upload. And then these replays, all 4, will stay in that group till next Friday. I'm not sure what time the team is taking it down, probably in the afternoon or early evening on that Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. So that gives everybody a little bit of time to go back if you need to and watch them, or get caught up. If anyone has questions about Sales Academy, just hit me in the DMs. And just let me know, like, you'd like to learn more or know more or see what it's all about, if it's for you. We start the second you join. Like, it's pretty rapid fire. You are getting support coaching. The first thing we do with everybody is my head coach books your onboarding call, and we have you do one of our proprietary cash injections. These are 10-year strategies. We've been doing these with clients for 10 years. You could probably talk to any of my clients and they'll tell you I've done 10K, 20K, 30, 50, 60 in like 3 weeks or less running these strategies. We can't guarantee it because it depends on what you got to work with. But our goal is, can we get you your investment back in 30 to 45 days? If we can do that in a month, 3 weeks, 4 weeks or less, perfect. So we'll have you run some strategies before we have you do our program. That way it's like, if we can earn that trust, if we can get some money in the door, if you can earn your investment back, we've got your full attention. We can focus. That's our goal. So that's how we kind of kick things off over there. It's pretty fast. If you guys have questions about that, definitely let me know. Replays will be there till next Friday. If you guys need anything, let me know. I appreciate you guys hanging with me for 4 days. I know you're all so busy. Any additional questions, drop them in the Facebook group or send me a DM. I'm happy to answer or go deeper on anything that we've covered. I know it's been a lot. I would recommend maybe even going back if you feel like you missed stuff. And check out some of the replays again, just to get that refresher. Hopefully we see you guys in Sales Academy or Sell at Scale. That would be amazing. Then we can actually help you make money. Yeah, so if you guys need anything, let me know. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.